Sitting is the new smoking. Health experts have long warned against the perils of sitting all day, but a new study suggests the length of time spent inactive in between bouts of movement also matters. Hip-mounted accelerometers measured physical inactivity in nearly 8,000 Americans aged 45 years and older, and found that they were sedentary for 12.3 hours out of a 16-hour waking day. When measuring bout length, it was discovered that subjects who sat for longer periods at a time were more likely to have died at the end of the study period than those with shorter sitting spells. Findings indicate that moving around for every 30 consecutive minutes of inactivity may significantly decrease the risk for death. The study did not explain how sitting increases early death, but experts suggest inactivity exposes the body to higher blood glucose levels, which leads to problems like diabetes, heart disease, or stroke. Prolonged sitting may also weaken the abdominal muscles, hip flexors, and glutes. It could also lead to a lack of circulation in the legs, potentially resulting in blood clots forming in the veins, a condition known as deep vein thrombosis. Alas, working out after a long day of sitting in an office chair may not necessarily undo all its ill effects. The best way to lengthen your lifespan, it seems, is to move about as often as you can. Here's what you should and shouldn't do to live longer. Cryonics could give people a second chance at life. A landmark British court ruling that a 14-year-old girl who died of cancer should have her body cryogenically frozen has once again put the spotlight on the controversial process known as cryonics. Cryonics is a procedure that preserves the human body at low temperatures after death, in the hope it can be revived in the future. The process must begin within 2 minutes of a person being declared legally dead. Although the heart has stopped beating, there is still some brain function during this period. So a heart-lung resuscitator is used to stabilize the body and keep the brain supplied with blood and oxygen. In the next step of the process, an anticoagulant is injected into the body to stop the blood clotting during transit. The body is then packed in ice and transported to a cryonics facility. Once there, a process called vitrification begins, where the blood is replaced with a cryoprotectant antifreeze fluid. This is done to prevent the cells from freezing and to stop ice crystals from forming around the organs at extremely low temperatures. The body is then placed on a bed of dry ice until it cools to minus 130 degrees Celsius. Once cooled sufficiently, the body is transferred to an individual container, which is in turn lowered into a larger metal tank that's filled with liquid nitrogen to keep the temperature at minus 196 degrees Celsius. Between 4 and 6 bodies are typically held in the tanks. They are stored with heads facing down to ensure the brains would stay immersed in the freezing liquid, even if there is a leak in the container. Britain's High Court ruled in October that a 14-year-old girl had the right to be cryogenically frozen after her parents disagreed about whether she should undergo the process. Before she died, the girl wrote to the court to say she wanted the chance to live again, even if it took 200 years for scientists to wake her up. Around 350 people have been cryogenically frozen since the 1960s, including several notable scientists and the baseball legend Ted Williams. However, the technology to revive someone who's been cryogenically frozen does not exist, and there is no proof that it ever will. Don't put anything smaller than your elbow in your ears, okay? You know that eargasm you get when you stick a cotton swab in your ear and pull out a piece of wax like candy floss? Well, according to medical experts, you should really stop doing that. For a long time now, doctors have advised against cleaning our ears with cotton swabs. But on Tuesday, the American Academy of Otolaryngology, Head and Neck Surgery, updated its guidelines to tell us exactly why we should never clean our ears ourselves. Cerumen, also known as earwax, is a natural substance made up of oil, hair, and dead skin cells. Doctors say using cotton swabs to clean ears can damage the eardrums and push earwax too deep inside the ear, where it can become clogged. In fact, earwax keeps our ears clean by preventing dirt, dust, and bacteria from entering the body. Earwax is removed from the body by the movement of the jaw when people talk and eat, and is washed away when we bathe. So you hear that? It's time to put those Q-tips down. And if you do have a problem with your ears, go see a doctor. Tick saliva could cure heart disease. Tick bites are annoying and sometimes dangerous as they may lead to serious illness. However, a new study shows that proteins found in tick saliva could also be used to treat a particular heart disease. Myocarditis is a disease that causes inflammation and damage of the heart muscle and typically affects young adults. When the heart becomes infected with a common virus, it releases chemicals called chemokines, which attract cells that cause inflammation. The heart muscle becomes dangerously inflamed, and patients with severe cases would need heart transplants. Tick saliva can contain up to 3,000 proteins, known as evasins, depending on their species. Evasins allow them to feed on blood without causing inflammation, thus making their bites almost unnoticeable. One evasin found in the cayenne tick can bind to and neutralize chemokines to prevent inflammation. This could also potentially prevent myocarditis disease. Although the development of adding the tick protein to actual drugs still has a long way to go, scientists believe this method could be used to cure heart disease, stroke, pancreatitis, and even arthritis. Good news for coffee drinkers. A new study shows that coffee drinkers are likely to live longer than non-coffee drinkers. Data was sampled from more than 500,000 people across 10 European countries. According to the study, coffee drinkers are likely to be smokers, drinkers, and meat eaters. However, it also shows coffee drinkers have significantly lower mortality rates than non-coffee drinkers and lower risk of death from all causes. The study revealed that coffee drinkers appear to have healthier lives and better glucose control, which may improve their overall health. Researchers say they will try to determine the particular compound in coffee that offers such health benefits. In the meantime, they suggest drinking around 3 cups of coffee a day for good health. Do you eat your own boogers? Scientists say parents should not discourage their children from picking their noses and should allow them to eat their boogers for health reasons. Scientists claim that dried nasal mucus contains good bacteria. Ingesting dried nasal mucus is said to be able to prevent cavity-causing bacteria from sticking to teeth and defend against respiratory infections, stomach ulcers, and even HIV. Some researchers are even developing a synthetic mucus toothpaste and chewing gum to improve dental hygiene.